Hi, everyone. How are you doing today? Let me know if you can hear and see me. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Denise. Robin, Courtney, Danielle. Hello, hello. Awesome. Perfect. Hi, Marcus. Hi, Donna, Madeline, everybody. Oh, so great to see you all here. Okay, so today, let's see here. You can see both me and the Grant Glow Up screen, right? I believe you can. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay. So I'm so grateful to have you all here today. I know that your lives are busy, and I appreciate you taking the time out to learn with me today. And it is all about learning. So while I will be live revising and writing a grant for someone and a particular nonprofit, I am doing this to help you all learn how to improve your grant writing. Even if you've been doing this for years, there are always ways to improve. And even I need help with my grant writing. So everyone needs a second pair of eyes on their writing, no matter how long they've been writing, no matter how fantastic they are. So this is one way, one means of. Sorry, I'm just seeing someone's having trouble hearing, but it looks like everyone else can hear. So it's one means of learning how to revise grants and just improve them. There's always room for improvement. So for those of you here, I would really love to hear from you today. What do you feel you most need help with when it comes to writing grants? And if anyone is having trouble right now with being, hearing anything, you might go out of the room and come back in. Yeah, and Alicia was just telling someone that. Okay, so Claire says that she needs help with making it compelling. Madeline says being concise about my need. Allie said with standing out in a crowd. Morgan says being concise. McKinney says where to start. Oh, you all are typing fast. Okay, how to get an invite from a grantor, the entire rundown, and understanding the balance of fluff and efficiency, the whole process. Some of you are beginners. You said you need help with everything. Yeah, McKinney said compelling and concise. I use those two adjectives all the time to help explain how your grant should be written. Expressing their real need within character limits. Cheryl says about your need. Elizabeth, researching grants, and I don't know what I don't know. Exactly. Okay, so today, if it sounds like you all are in the right place, but I want to let you know who this is for today. So I invite you to keep watching if you want to take the guesswork out of grant writing so that you know exactly what to do and you can get it done quickly and efficiently. I also want you to keep watching if you want to learn how to make compelling arguments backed by research, logic, and emotion. And if you want to understand how grant readers think, so what they expect, how to get in their heads as much as possible. And I also want you to have the best chance for your organization to receive grant funding by making stellar arguments that appeal to funders. So if any of this resonates with you, then let's keep going. I'm also giving you all a special bonus at the end of the webinar. It's an organizational history generator. Some of you might already have this from being on my newsletter list, but if you don't have it, or if you just want to learn how to use it better, I'm going to show you how to do it today. And then you're going to get the actual file at the end. Okay, is everyone here ready to spend this time learning with me? So say in the comments, yes, if you are. And I don't believe in big, long introductions like telling you who I am and what I do. I feel like you all mostly know who I am. So yes. Okay, thank you all. So our job today is to learn how to help grant makers make an easy decision to fund your work. So keep that in mind. Everything I'm teaching you today, everything I'm talking about, the ultimate end goal is to make it easy for grant makers to say yes to you. Okay. So now what I would like to do is invite our special guests. We have Melinda and Denise. And Melinda and Denise have been so wonderful and kind as to share their existing grant materials with us. And I so appreciate that. So what we have done today. Hi, Melinda. Hi, Denise. How are you?
Good.
Perfect. I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome. So that's Melinda on the right and Denise on the left. So they run a food pantry in the greater Cleveland area, and we'll talk more about exactly where. And they're doing incredible work in the community, and they have won grants in the past. And so they shared some of those winning grant proposals with me. And what I have done is put several of those together so that we can have some sources of information. And then I'm also going to gather more information from Melinda and Denise live here today and work on that draft for a new grant opportunity with them. So everybody say welcome to them, and thank you again so much for sharing with us. All right. So Melinda and Denise, can you just give us like the 30-second intro to your organization? We'll learn a lot more about it today. So I just want people to really understand what you do before we jump in.
Okay. We run a food pantry. It's a food resource center, actually. It's been in operation over 27 years, 28 years. We service anyone who comes to our facility. So we don't have, you have to be in a certain county or anything like that, but we provide lots of food. We service anywhere from 125 to 150 families every week, giving them some choices at this point. With the COVID, it's kind of difficult, but we provide them with non-perishables. We always try to make sure there's meat, there's dairy, there's produce, to have a nice, well-rounded, well-balanced offering to them. And like I said, we've been doing this for, over 28 years. And during COVID, it's been difficult, trying to do new programs and such like that. But that's just our heart. We get the stuff, we do everything we can to get the stuff, and it's just our job to send it out there and to help those in need.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that information with us. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that PowerPoint. I'm going to go ahead and share my entire screen so that you all can see what I'm working with here. And I'm going to zoom way in for you all. Don't you even worry. Okay, so can you all see that okay? All good? Okay, perfect. So like I said, they kindly lent me several different grant drafts. Now, the grant questions that we're going to ask today, this is for a community grant, community foundation grant. So the questions that we're focusing on today are just a few because, we're limited in our time together, but we're going to look at the project summary. So this is something that you're going to find in any grant application. You've got to explain what it is you're proposing to do with the funding and how you're going to do it. And we'll talk more about what exactly that means in a minute. The next question is about the target population. So this is kind of getting into the statement of need a little bit. And you'll also notice that the word limits are small. So we have limited space to explain ourselves. And I know that that was a concern for some of you with your grant writing. And so know that we are going to show you how to pare that down. And then the final question is the budget summary. So they're not asking for a full Excel spreadsheet breakdown of things, but they do want us to summarize expenses. So we're going to aim for these three today. Hopefully we'll get them done. If we don't get them done live, Melinda and Denise already mentioned I'll still help you finish these up anyway later after today. Okay, so any questions so far? Perfect. So I'm going to start with, in the project summary, normally you'll have a separate section that is going to ask you your mission, but we have to put it in here somewhere since they don't explicitly ask for it. So we're going to give a little bit of a mission in this section. So I pulled what would serve as the mission and history section from another one of your grants, and here's what we have. At Vineyard Food Resource Center of Wycliffe, we offer an all-inclusive weekly food pantry that provides both perishable and non-perishable foods. Our pantry serves a diverse group of community members who come from a broad range of cultural and various backgrounds. As part of the weekly food pantry, we also provide a monthly senior box distribution and a monthly fresh produce giveaway. Is that still all accurate? Okay, perfect. And then the next paragraph is really the mission statement. So our mission for the past 20 years, and you said it's been 28 years, right?
Yeah, it's been going on. I started at the church 28 years ago, and it had been started before that.
Okay. Do you know what year it was founded? If you don't, that's okay. We can just.
Yeah, it's like in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s.
Okay. So I'll put 1990 as a placeholder in the actual mission. Mm-hmm. So our mission for the past 28 years has been improve the health and well-being of Lake County, so that's the county Wycliffe is in, and surrounding residents in need by providing access to healthy food, nutrition education, and related resources, educate the public about the issues of hunger in our area. So I want to start by working on this mission statement a little bit. And I'm actually going to, I need to stop sharing for a second to share the entire thing I need to share here. I'm going to share the entire screen actually. Because I want to show you all this free organizational history generator. And you all, I did minimal preparation before this so I could show you what it would really be like and how much time it takes to really do this work. So I filled a little bit of this in, but not all. So what you'll do is you'll fill in the information it requests here, and then it'll generate some histories for you, 3 different versions on this other tab down here. Okay, and I'm giving this to everybody in here at the end of this workshop. Okay, so we have your full organization name, your acronym, is that right? VFRC, or do you not use an acronym?
Vineyard FRC.
Vineyard FRC. Okay, so we'll change that. Vineyard FRC, you're a 501c3. Mm-hmm. You work with low-income residents of Wycliffe and surrounding communities, but we'll have that down here. So Wycliffe, Ohio, founder's name. Okay, so who's your founder?
Well, I mean, our senior pastor has been around since it began. I guess that would be the closest name to put. So it'd be Brent Paulson.
2 T's?
Paulson.
Paulson. Okay.
Yeah, and 1 T for Brent.
Oh, 1 T.
Yeah.
Okay. Then your founding story, is that a story that you know, or is there just a general, like we saw?
Well, yeah, it basically was there. People in the church had seen there was a need, like people were asking, saying, "Hey, you're a church, so shouldn't you be helping people?" kind of thing. So they just decided, well, they'll check it out, and the church came together and decided to take 1 or 2 families and try to provide food for them, and that's where it started. They just very, very small reached out and started to help a couple families with what they could gather together to give them for food.
Okay. And I took this from your mission statement that you had in another draft, and I just kind of condensed it a little bit. So we changed it to improve the health and well-being of Lake County and surrounding. Let's change this to of residents of Lake County and surrounding area. In need by providing access to healthy food and nutrition education and educate changes to and to educate the public about the issue of hunger in our area. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit tighter than what we did have here.
Right.
Okay. So then founding date, we'll just put 1990. Years in operation, so that would be 31. Your major organizational goals. So I would say feeding the hungry, or maybe have something more specific.
It's what we've learned over the years with the Cleveland Food Bank is if you feeding the hungry sometimes it can have a negative connotation on it. So we've always used serving people in their time of food insecurity.
Love it. It makes it a temporary state.
Right. So that it's not like forever they're a need, you know.
And then we have your name and you're the executive director.
Correct.
And then what would you say you help your participants do? So your goal is serving people in their time of food insecurity. What is the end state or, you know, the interim state that you want participants to be in?
Well, I mean, our optimal goal is to help them get over this time in their life so that they could provide for themselves.
Mm-hmm. So we need to think about it from their point of view. So you're helping your participants.
One of the biggest things actually that we help them do is not have to choose between medicine and like immediate family needs and food. So that is one of the things that we definitely strive to do for them, because there are people that are wishy-washy about should they come, shouldn't they come, they're on the verge of qualifying. So we want to just, you know, I mean, we like to offer hope that they'll eventually get through this stage and to not have to make those tough choices. We've had many seniors that have made choices on, do I buy my medicine or do I buy food?
Right.
You know, and again, the end goal is always to help them in their deepest time of food insecurity so that they could actually make it to the other side.
Yeah. Love that. Okay. So I just added a little bit more here. So they help your participants not have to choose between medicine and other family needs and food, meet their basic needs and have food security.
Right.
And then I'm sure it's hard to tell how many participants you have served. So we might just think of how many you've served in the last year. And I'm sure you gave me that data right here. So last year it was how many?
That's meals provided. So total people served 25,668.
Oh, wow.
In the last year.
25,660. I see that up here.
Yep.
Fantastic. Now, I want to point this out for anybody. You work with Greater Cleveland Food Bank to have this dashboard and track this data, right?
Correct.
If anyone in here can either create some kind of dashboard like this so you can track, you know, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, however your programs are run. If you can track this type of information, this is exactly what you need to show impact to grant makers. So this is just fantastic. So you have community impact, people served, and this, you can really imagine this, 590,000 meals, so over 500,000 meals in a year. That's incredible. And this was in 1 year, or is this all of time?
No, that would just be for the fiscal year. So
right, that's incredible. And then we have everything from the average cost per pound, delivery fees. This is just so detailed. This is really a great model for folks in here to look to. So kudos to you all. So 25668 is your number here. Now, on this form, it's going to churn out how many you've served total, but we can alter that after we put this down. So then down here, I've already put some of your ongoing partners or supporters. But here are a couple things that you all might be able to help me with. Could you all tell me what it is that you think makes your organization unique?
Well, I think one of the things is that we strive to make sure they have well-rounded, not just give them some cans and say, here, go. Our food pantry, our food resource center actually is a choice pantry, but with COVID, we can't do that because we can't have all the people in our building, but it gives them more of a choice rather than taking stuff they're not going to eat and then they're still hungry. The other thing is we strive to know our clients. We create relationships with them, we check in with them, and it tends to become a little community, another community for them. They'll come in, they'll tell us their thoughts, they'll tell us struggles they're having, and we just really get to know them. And I think our food pantry is noted for the relational part. Several clients have said that over and over again. That's what they look forward to.
Oh, that's awesome. And see how quick Denise was with that? Like she knew right away what makes them special. And that's what I want to encourage everyone in here to really know about either your organization or the organization you work for, or if it's your client, whomever it is, know what makes them unique, because that's what you need to pull out in every grant. And then if you have any awards, accolades, anything like that, we could put that here. If not, that's okay.
A couple years ago, I can't remember the year now, I know we did get an award, a John Worley Award through the Cleveland Foundation for our work with the community.
Is that how you spell it? I just guessed.
I'm not sure. I think it's Worley. It's just, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can get you because I can tell you the date and everything later. That's back at the church.
For community service?
For our impact on the community.
Awesome. Okay. And who did you say gave that?
It was through the Cleveland Food Bank and Feeding America.
Okay. And then for strategies / approach / techniques, I think relational would be one, but let's see how it comes out. So this gives us 3 different options here. You can just take one and use that. You can put a couple different ones together. I would say for us, we do need it to be somewhat short since we still have to explain what it is the project is doing here. But I like this one because it has that number of people there. So when you go to this to copy it, just select it once, copy it, and then we'll go up here and put that there. Now, if there are some blanks here, that's because we didn't have the information, and that's fine. Okay. So here's what it turned out. Vineyard Food Resource Center of Wickliffe is a 501c3 nonprofit that serves low-income residents in Wickliffe, Ohio, and surrounding communities. Founded in 1990 by Brett Paulson, Vineyard FRC's mission is to improve the health and well-being of residents of Lake County and the surrounding area in need. By providing access to healthy food and nutrition education, and to educate the public about the issue of hunger in our area. Okay. Over the past 31 years, Vineyard FRC has helped 25,688, I'm going to put a comma right there, low-income residents not have to choose between medicine and other immediate family needs and food, meet their basic needs, and have food security. In 2021, our organizational goals are serving people in their time of food insecurity. Vineyard FRC is unique because we strive to make sure they have well-rounded, so when we say they, we'll change that to clients, have well-rounded meals and allow them to choose their own food. We also create relationships with our clients and form a community of support. Vineyard FRC has ongoing partnerships with Vineyard Food Resource Center of Wycliffe has been recognized for recognized with. That was just 2 words there I put as an option for you to choose between. The John Worley Award for Impact on the Community by the Cleveland Food Bank and Feeding America. Okay, so thoughts on that so far?
Well, you said you were going to go back and change those numbers, right? Because that was just our year.
Yeah.
So we'll have to go back and, okay.
I'm trying to remove the formatting so it no longer has the gold behind it. We'll have to do that later, I guess. Let me see. Oh, because it's still in the table. So I'll copy it this way. Just copy the text and delete this. There we go. In 2021 or 2020, there you go. All right. So that is your intro to the work that you do. So you can see how it's got a little more weight behind it. And our goal for the mission, even though it's really providing a history, it's to still make a compelling argument, to still prove that, even though you may not think of this as the argumentative section or the statement of need, you're still proving yourself. You're still explaining, here's why you should give us this money. We've been doing it for 28 years. We've fed, just almost 26,000 people in just 1 year. We have this unique approach, right? So everything we include in this is still making an argument. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, I want to just take a pause and look in on the comments and see if anyone has a question. Okay, nice. Some people are asking for dashboards or a copy of that dashboard. I don't know if you want to share that or not, or if it's public information or not.
It doesn't matter. You could share it.
Thank you. You all are so awesome. So now that we have this, I'm going to delete this because now we have another version that we're going to use. Now we're getting into the project and what the problem is. What are you addressing through the grant request? So you said, over the last few months, we have seen a drastic increase in our food pantries outreach. So this is copy from a previous grant. Now, I'm guessing this, you could probably say over the last year or so. So do you want to alter that a little bit?
Right, because when we did that grant, that was at the way beginning of all this. So
yeah. So we could even change it to since the pandemic or start of the pandemic. And I'm going to just change this to Vineyard FRC, as seen, a drastic increase in our food pantries outreach. So I'm thinking about the usage of the word outreach and how that could be construed as your efforts to reach people. So I'm thinking more like impact, number of individuals served, fed. So how can we change that? Would you mind if I change that?
No.
We'll just change it to that for now. Impact on the community. And then we'll say a month ago. So when was a month ago at this time? March, maybe 2020 or February?
Yeah, it's been about March.
Yeah, probably about March.
March of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We saw 1,225 individuals. And then how many months later was it that you were seeing over 2,500 plus individuals a month?
June. Around in June is when that we started seeing a major impact from the pandemic.
Okay. So let's see, we provided meals, we'll change it to that. So we need to be more specific. We provide meals to that many individuals. By June 2020, we were seeing over 2,500 individuals, or we were serving. We always want to emphasize what it is you're doing, right? More than just seeing, you were serving them. And then now, how many would you say it is?
That's what I'm looking up right now to make sure I give you an accurate number.
Awesome. We were serving over 2,500 individuals a month. And anytime you can say we were serving over rather than like 2,500 plus, do it. But sometimes the constraints of the word or character limits don't allow for that, and that's fine to do. So I'm also rearranging this a bit because I want to provide more data up here. Because you're providing the context of how the pandemic has affected the need. And then down here, you're going to talk about how the pandemic has impacted the delivery of your services. So that's what we're going to do here. And then just let me know, interrupt me at any time when you have that number. And then there's some repetition right here. So this is something I do see a lot is, you know, you've said up here that you're serving 2,500 individuals a month. And so we'll remove that here. Okay. But we will need to state in here somewhere that you are doing this for people across 22 different cities and neighborhoods. Now, I do want to talk a little bit more about that and help me understand how that works. So are they traveling to you, or are you taking the food to them?
They're coming to us.
Okay. So since the start of the pandemic, Vineyard FRC has seen a drastic increase in our impact on both our local community as well as, and since we're going for brevity here. Oh, I don't hear you all on here anymore. Oh, you just turned your sound up. Okay. And 22 surrounding cities / neighborhoods. Is that accurate?
Okay.
How are y'all doing?
It's a little problem with the
Okay.
earpieces, that's all. Yeah,
Okay.
we were up to as high as over 2,500 a month. It's like it's fluctuating up and down at this point. You know, we could be at 17, we could be closer to 20, we could.
From 1,700 to 2,500 plus clients per month.
Right. It just seems like it's all depending on the month. Like when they got stimulus checks, our number started to go down a little bit. They got the bonus of the SNAP. It went down a little bit, and it's just, you know, starting to increase back up again. So.
Okay, so that helps us here. So we continue to serve between 1,700 to 2,500 plus clients per month. Okay, so now I also want to say, how many meals are they getting per month?
Technically, they can. We give them enough food for like 3 meals for each distro, and they can come twice a month. Most of the people are coming more like 3 times a month. So,
3 meals
9
per.
So, yeah, it's most of them are getting anywhere from 9 to 10 minimum a month. But like
9 to 10 meals per month. We can say each client receives 9 to 10 meals per month. Okay. So down here, you were requesting equipment and food. Now, and supplies. Yeah, I see where you request some supplies as well. So, are you wanting to ask for the same things? I know one thing you wanted to request was funding for staff, and I bet everybody in here can relate to that need. If you can, say so. I'm just trying to look through the messages to see what everyone's saying. Okay. Yeah, I see some people are having trouble hearing, but it looks like you can mostly hear okay. Yeah, so you all let me know what this will provide for here.
Tables and shelving.
Mm-hmm.
Tables and shelving.
Sure.
Go ahead, you say.
Yeah, go ahead, Melinda.
Sorry.
Hear you
Being so
whispering.
shy.
Tables and shelving, and then also a box truck.
A box
Yeah,
truck.
and let me ask you a question about that. So we received a grant to cover partial, like we needed about 50,000 to get the box truck size and everything we needed. We received like 15,000 toward that. So if we write this grant and write that in there, I mean, is there any conflict? Do we have to, yeah, I didn't know if we had to mention that.
Not in this application since it's a pre-application. It helps to say that you've already received partial funding because I'm guessing 15,000 isn't all of it,
No,
right?
because like we said, when we looked into things for what we need for the lift, for the size, everything, it's almost $50,000. So almost 50,000,
okay.
and they gave us Cleveland Food Bank gave us 15,000 toward it, which was wonderful, but that's a lot more money to come up with to actually purchase it.
Okay. Yeah, so this is something for everyone to note. If you've received partial funding for a big purchase that you can't make without other funding, it is completely fine to let the second funder, the one that you're requesting the rest of it from, know that you have partial funding, and it's encouraged. It's ideal that they know that another funder has already said, this is a great project and we want to fund it. So now the one thing about this is I don't know if that is an allowable cost. So that's another thing that we'll have to check on. But an allowable cost means that it's something you're allowed to request funding for. So sometimes they'll let you ask for big equipment funding. Sometimes they will not. I'll have to double check on that. But basically, the project, the name of the game here is you need to expand your capacity to serve clients,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, we'd like to actually have a freestanding building because we're like trashing the church. So it's costing us more to try to help, make up the difference of that. So if we could have a freestanding building or an addition or whatever to house it, I mean, that would be ideal for us.
Need a freestanding building. And that would be a rental for now?
Well, I mean, we've got plenty of space on our property to, expand out that way. So.
Okay. So that could be a capital grant. I do think I remember seeing that you couldn't ask for that type of funding on this grant. But let's write that for this project, we're attempting to expand capacity clients per month. And then we need to explain what you just said, Denise. So at the moment, they're kind of having that high foot traffic is damaging the church, basically.
It's a lot of wear and tear on the church.
Foot traffic through our church is a lot of wear and tear. I'm just going to write exactly as you're saying it. And requires maintenance, cleaning, and repairs beyond what the church is able to fund. And then there are some other issues, right? Like I'm sure it's not the ideal setup for you, right?
Yeah, because when we first started, we were able to operate everything out of one little room, and that's
Okay.
can't do that.
When Vineyard FRC was founded, it could be successfully run out of a small, how big would you say it was?
20 by 20, maybe 20 by 15.
20 by
Yeah.
15. But room, and now what do you feel your requirements are?
We take up 90% of the church. So in order to successfully do what we need to do, it's not even as much the foot traffic, it's the pallets. We have food in our sanctuary, we have food all in our fellowship hall, we have food in that room that we started with, and we have food all in the lobby. So we do take up, it's like a food pantry that could sometimes have a church.
Wow, I didn't realize that. Okay, so, and that's probably a fire hazard.
Well, we make sure that it's not, but it's, it's difficult.
It's not great to have all that stuff. It's not, yeah. So, and this is probably not ideal storage conditions.
Well, we're still able, the way that we set it up, we're still able to maintain the temperature and stuff that we need for storage and to keep it, the requirements off the ground and stuff. It's just, it's just overwhelming. We have to move stuff around a lot so that we could, keep things going.
So let's say we permanently store, right? Because it's been going on for a long time at this point, right? Now the food pantry takes up 90% of the church. We permanently store food in our sanctuary, fellowship hall, and in the lobby, which makes it difficult to run our services and other ministries. Is that worded correctly?
Yeah, definitely on Tuesday, it looks like that, like Monday night to Tuesday.
Right.
Our goal is always to put everything back. So we try to, whatever we have out, that's what we give out. So it's like, even if we give them extra, we give out, so that we are trying to keep all the actual food in one corner of the fellowship hall and the storage room that it's supposed to be in. But on Tuesdays, in order to operate at the level we are, that's why we're expanding all over the place.
Okay. So this project will expand our capacity. And then another issue is COVID has probably made it difficult to distribute the food, right?
Correct. Yeah. So like I said, instead of having them come in and choose stuff, we have to, Monday nights, we have to prepare the boxes with all the non-perishables. And then Tuesday, we process all the stuff we get from 9 different retailers, plus our order from the Cleveland Food Bank. And then we also give stuff out that day. It's physically taxing on all of us.
Okay, and this is another thing is I'm all for, I really promote being honest and straightforward in grants. So I try to take what you say, your actual spoken word, and translate it into this rather than try to make it seem academic and removed. Let's make it real. So we're also physically struggling to distribute the food with our space limitations and COVID safety precautions.
Which also part of that is decrease in volunteers. So because there's a lot of people that are afraid to still come because of COVID or only work a couple hours because, and we, for a year, we had the National Guard there helping, which was amazing. But we sure miss them now that they're gone.
I bet. I am going to move. You said for now we're offering a drive-up style. So that's how it still is,
for the time being. We're trying to do that as long as we can because it's a space issue when we try to do it the other way.
Absolutely. So we offer a drive-up style pantry in compliance with CDC regulations. And then we can say last year.
Right. For a whole year last year, we had the National Guard.
We worked with the National Guard to implement in the food bank too, right? now you're no longer working with the
Correct.
National Guard.
Yep.
Now we no longer have the support of the National Guard.
And less volunteers on top of it. So
Fewer volunteers due to COVID precautions. So now you can see everyone who's here, and I'm just going to be looking in on the comments again. So what we've done in this section is explained the need, how it's increased drastically, given actual numbers. Anytime you can give actual numbers, please do it. And then beyond just the big picture scope of how many people you're serving, how many meals are they getting per month? So we've provided that detail as well. Now here, I would love it if you all could collect a quote or a couple quotes, some little short stories from your clients telling us, how this has impacted them. Now, you may not have that on hand today, so I'm just going to add a little note here to add that if you can. Does that sound doable?
Yes.
And so again, this first paragraph is all about your impact. At the end of this paragraph, add a client quote about how this has impacted their life. And so when you're asking for a quote, you really, I have a whole section, I can refer you to it here, but I have a whole section in our course workbooks for Grant Writing Made Easy on how to get this type of information, on how to conduct interviews with people. I'm looking through it here. So this whole section tells you how to do a little primary research, which is you going and collecting information from the people that you serve. So it gives you some tips on how to do that. You can do it through surveys, interviews, community listening sessions, community needs assessments, data collection, site observation. But getting that information is really going to help you. But try not to get, very vague things like, oh, this has been great. It's really made a difference. Like really ask, before you came here, were you missing meals? Of course, get their permission, anonymize it as needed, but really paint a picture, the who, what, where, when, why, how, the journalist questions, and really paint a picture for the reader so that they understand. But I don't want you to, we also have to be careful with vulnerable populations. We don't want to traumatize them, re-traumatize, or try to capitalize off from their suffering. But, if you can find someone who is willing to talk to you and normally tells you things like this, and is willing to be in a grant, then, anonymized, of course, then if you can get that info, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, we actually have several clients who feedback on a regular basis. That's part of the community that we've generated. So we have lots of them that would be willing and happy to participate in this for us.
That's great. So then in the next paragraph, we explain this project will expand our capacity to serve 2,500 plus clients per month. Then we explain why we need to do this. So first we're talking about the amount of it says food traffic. Foot traffic through our church is a lot of wear and tear, requires maintenance, cleaning, repairs beyond what the church is able to fund or probably even just keep up with.
Right.
The space is also not ideal. You permanently store food in your sanctuary. And then the other thing I want to talk about here is you also need someone who can be the on the ground person all the time. And that's Melinda, right? So she's going to be full-time. Is that right?
That's our goal.
Okay. Employee to run the center. So what all on a day-to-day basis will Melinda be doing? Well, she's already doing it, but not getting paid. So what do we need? What is she doing that she needs to get paid for?
Well, one of the biggest things is grants. So researching and applying for grants.
Oh,
yes,
grants. Okay,
that's a huge part of her job.
Including writing grants.
She maintains all of the paperwork aspect of it. our account, our financial account and stuff. She has the whole. I'm lost for words right now. She's
No,
yeah.
you're good.
Sorry. She has all of the paperwork in her area of the office, so she maintains all that on like a secretary type of and basis. She actually takes care of all the phone calls that come through, the troubleshooting that comes through from clients or anybody outside of the church.
Okay, troubleshooting for clients.
And she is the contact person for the 9 retailers that we work with. So we have 9 different retailers throughout the surrounding community. So she's the contact for them. So communicating with them on a regular basis.
Okay, fantastic. So now, by having this description, we're really painting a picture of how much it takes to run. You're also, I'm guessing, coordinating volunteers.
Right.
Volunteers. Melinda's like, wow, I do all that.
It's like she just does it all. You want me to list it?
And I'm just looking here in the comments. I bet a lot of you have similar issues. Like you all are running everything, a jack of all or a Jill of all trades, and maybe getting paid, maybe not, but putting all of your duties down in one place is so important. So we also need a full-time employee to run the center, coordinating volunteers. So I'm going to put and coordinating volunteers. Our current administrator, Dennis, works on a volunteer basis, and which is not sustainable.
No. Long time ago became non-sustainable.
Okay, so I'm going to move this for now. And let's see here. This is not going to stay here, but I'm going to leave it there for now. And let's see, we've already done that. And you said that you've already obtained the walk-in cooler and freezer, yes, but you needed the shelving. Did you get the shelving for that?
No, we haven't purchased shelving yet. We need shelving for the walk-in cooler, the walk-in freezer, and also for all the product, the dry storage, because our shelves are just really getting bad.
Okay. Okay, I like this. So you explained that you could serve 25 to 30% more families every week if you had all of this. Okay. So I think I'm going to move part of this up. And I'm going to say you recently, or how long ago did you receive those coolers?
A couple years back.
Okay. So but you still need shelving to make it work.
Yeah, we're using old shelving. Limping by.
Okay. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna move this. So after receiving equipment grants and purchasing a walk-in cooler and freezer 2 years ago.
It was probably more than 2. 4 years.
Okay, so we'll just put 4. Okay. 4 years ago, we expanded our capacity to store perishable food items or just food. But still need the proper shelving inside those to reach their capacity, storage capacity. Being able to store food there allows us to take in additional food on an emergent basis. Is that right? All right. And then we can put additionally, we would be able to store 50% more perishable food and allow more choices and increase quantity for each family, while also serving more families. We can just say that and end it there since they know the timeline. Okay. So I'm going to delete this. We have that. We have that. And then you said food prices are up 20%. When was that statistic from?
I looked that up in May of this year.
Okay. So I bet we can find some more recent data. So I'm going to just move this down. And we'll come back to that in a minute. So far, I feel like we really explain exactly what the project is going to be doing. Now, I'm sure we've gone over our word limit, so let me just look here. We are right at, okay, 569. Okay, we're still not there yet. So we have 750 words. I do want to take a quick pause. We're almost at an hour. If you all need to take a little break, get something to drink, that's fine. Let me just stop sharing my screen for a moment. I just want to look through some of the comments too and see if you all have any questions about what I've been doing so far. And yeah, everybody here, you are going to get a recording. So if you've had problems with your internet or anything else, then you can always come back in. Again, thank you all for joining us. So far, any questions about what we've been doing to explain the project? Thank you, LT. Okay, pretty clear. Okay, good deal. Well, let's get back in it. And as you can see how this always takes more time than you think it's going to. So I do want to continue working on this. One of the grants that you showed me previously had a request that you explain your evaluation methods. So you have a one sentence explanation here. If we will be able to serve all that attend our pantry and purchase food items and distribute them to our community. So what they're asking for here is really more of how are you tracking your data and how are you deciding whether what you're doing is fulfilling the goals that you have. So I would like to add more on this. You have this great tracking tool, right? You have this dashboard. Okay, so I would explain here how you use that dashboard. We evaluate our success first by tracking the number of individuals served per month, the number of meals provided. I mean, there's so much more than that. I'm trying to hit the highlights.
It's really,
here.
a lot of people have asked us about like the specific stats of seniors versus kids versus multi-generational households. And it's easier for us to see with the dashboard how many of the multi-generational households we have, because we can see how many of the households with seniors actually have, the younger kids in them. So that's been very helpful.
Wow. So how do you actually collect that information from them?
We have a program called Pantry Track that Feeding America and the Cleveland Food Bank provide, and you put their statistics in. So you put everyone in the household's name, age, date of birth, sex, all that stuff is in there. So then when we serve them, we click them on being served that day, and it automatically throws that into that day we served, Johnny who's 15, and the grandma who's 75, and the mom who's 40. So that's how it starts to compile all that information.
So as they're coming in, you're asking them these questions, or do they fill it out in advance?
Both. If they're a new client, we do it that day, but as long as they've already been in our system, we just pull it up and say, hey, is this all still the same? And then we're able to just check them in that day. It used to all be done on paper, which was very hard. Computers are wonderful.
And we can tidy this part up, but I just wanted to have that explained for myself.
So that's
number of meals provided and a demographic breakdown. Now, do you just do age, or do you track anything else?
We do age and sex. There's other things you can do. We haven't. You can do their nationality. You can do all kinds of stuff. Again, that's something you'd have to ask them specifically. Are they willing to share that? But there's a lot more things we could do, which we've been so busy we haven't been able to tap into those things. But that's where the Cleveland Food Bank gets the information to make the dashboard from the stuff we put in the system.
Perfect. Okay. So entering data on our clients and closely monitoring who we serve and how often. Okay. So I feel like here we could set some hard goals, even though they don't ask for it in this specifically. I think we should set one. You did say you wanted to store 50% more perishable food and provide food for 25 to 30% more people. Is that right?
Yes.
So it's 25% more families than in 2020, and have the capacity, or we could just say, and store 50% more perishable food items. Okay. Now, the other thing you mentioned is you provide nutrition education. So can you tell me a little bit about that and how you do that?
Yeah, it all depends on the week. We do have, like, sometimes the Cleveland Food Bank will send us recipes that go with some of the produce they're sending out, or we just come up with our own recipes. We do, on occasion, have people that are available to talk to people about, nutrition and health. So it's, we'll take whatever we can get to give them to, like, keep them informed. We actually had just started having a time where we were going to have people come in on a regular basis to do nutritional education, or just, like my daughter is getting her master's in nutrition. So we're like, yay, we can have her come in and do some like TED Talk kind of things, but with them being outside, it's been very difficult. So
sure. Okay. So we also provide recipes, have nutrition specialist counsel and let's just have 2 items there. And have nutrition, I can't say nutrition, and have nutrition specialists. It's nutrition specialists together
Right.
that's tripping me up. Counsel our clients on healthy meal preparation, diet. So I do want to move that up here to the strategy section on what you actually provide. So we also provide recipes for the food we distribute and have nutrition specialists counsel our clients on healthy meal preparation and diet. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to go and see where we are in terms of word count. $669. So we have a little bit of space left. Another thing I would do, and I'll have you all, or I can go back and do these calculations, is anytime that you have a goal like serving or providing food to 25% more families, always give it a number. So what I would do is go back and say, okay, we had 26, how many was it? 25,668. Let me pull up my calculator. 668. Oops. 25,668. Okay, and then we'll multiply that. So then our new goal would be 32,085. So our goal is to provide food to 25% more families than in 2020. Our total served in 2021 to 32,085. And the reason we do that is just to give people a better idea of what that looks like. Because when you say 25%, that's very vague. But if we can say, oh, that's actually 6,000 more people, that's a lot. Okay, so here you, from another grant, talked about COVID-19 issues that you faced, additional expenses for staff and volunteer PPE. Okay, I feel like we've covered that stuff pretty well. How do you all feel? Okay, so that's kind of similar. Okay, so pretty much all of that is taken care of. Now what I want to focus on, I'm just going to put a dash here to show that for now, that's all we're going to have for the project summary. You all, after this, I'm going to go back and add a little bit more, but I feel like we have a really good structure and a lot more detailed information on what exactly it is that you all are trying to do in this project. Does anyone else have questions, or do you all have questions or thoughts on this? I want you all to be able to let me know. Does that make sense, what we've done here so far with being more detailed?
Yeah, to us, definitely.
Okay. Now, the next section we have here is the target population. So one of the grants asked you, please indicate the populations you primarily intend to serve using the requested funds. And this is the question that is required in this grant as well. So here's what we have. So 40% of students in Wycliffe schools are considered low income and receive reduced or free school lunches. There are still more than 3,000 people eligible for food assistance in Wycliffe. And then you give the source here. Our program aims, in other words, almost 1 in 4 people in Wycliffe is eligible for food assistance. So I love how you really quantify that and make people imagine, oh, if I see 4 people on the street, among every 4, one of those people need food assistance. So our pantry serves a diverse group of community members who come from a broad range of cultural and various backgrounds. As part of the weekly food pantry, we provide a monthly senior box distribution and a monthly fresh produce giveaway. Is that still accurate? Okay. So what I did was I went ahead and looked up some data on Wycliffe. So now we're getting into some secondary research. So anytime you're asked to describe your target population, go look up these resources. You all already referred to the American Community Survey. These are the categories that I tend to look up for pretty much. Oh no, I forgot. Am I not sharing the screen? Oh gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry. Thank you for reminding me. These are the categories that I tend to look up. So we have race, income poverty level, educational attainment, unemployment, childhood poverty, free or reduced lunch. So I put that in here because you all mentioned it, family size, and age. So here you are trying to pick out the most relevant information, but also when they just want a general description, you're also really just trying to provide that. What does the community look like? Now, the one catch in this is that I know that you all are also getting people from surrounding areas,
Correct.
right? And I did read, I just looked up a little bit. I did read that East Cleveland has a high poverty rate. So the highest child poverty rate in Ohio is Youngstown, and then East Cleveland at 56.5%. That is astronomical. Then for overall poverty, the highest rate is in East Cleveland at 38.9%, which is also extremely high. So are you getting people from East Cleveland?
Yeah, I just looked at, when I just pulled up last year's, actually in Cuyahoga County, and there are East Clevelanders in that stat. There's like 455 households that came through our pantry last year from Cuyahoga County. That would include Euclid and the rest of Cleveland too, but there are East Cleveland. Like I could probably pull up their zip code.
Right?
What?
11,992 is the count. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, that's
Out
the
of the
head count.
25,000.
Right.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, unfortunately, it comes up as Cleveland because it just defers everything that's East Cleveland, whatever, to Cleveland. So
makes sense. Okay. So I would start with our clients come from Wycliffe and surrounding cities, particularly East Cleveland and Cuyahoga County. East Cleveland has the, let's see, how did we word it down here? The highest childhood poverty, one of the highest childhood poverty rates in Ohio. And let's see, has the highest poverty rate and one of the highest childhood poverty rates in Ohio, respectively. 56.5% for childhood and 38.9%. 38.9% and 56.5% respectively. Okay, and then we'll change that to poverty. Okay. So any data, and I just love how much data you all have. So probably I'll have you go back in here and, give even more data on exactly how many came from there. So is that in 2020?
Yes.
Yeah. In 2020, 455 households came from Cuyahoga. Okay. Let's see, Wycliffe. And we'll put, since you don't track racial demographics specifically, and we'll just put Wycliffe demographics here. Up of, and then we'll just plug some of these in here. And it's fine to do lists like this, you all, because again, they're asking a very specific question, which is just what's your demographics? Again, however, many clients come from surrounding counties with even more diverse populations. Okay. And I want to let you all know that this data is coming from a couple different places. So first, US Census Quick Facts. If you just Google US Census Quick Facts and then any city name or county, you're going to get all this information. And I'll show you where that comes up here. Okay. Very, very easy to get to. Now, to get more detailed information, you've got to do a little more research. So for things like childhood poverty and other things like that, it took a little bit more than just searching that quick facts. So what I did is I went to World Population Review. And here's the thing, this is a .com, this is not a government site, but they source their information from government sites. And you can click in the top right-hand corner of every single piece of information and show the sources that it came from. Okay, so then you can click on that and it'll take you to exactly where they got it. It's not working on here, but it looks like you can probably, yeah, I just clicked on this and it pulled all that information up. So whenever you can go straight to the source, go straight to the source, but they do gather a lot of information for you. So this is World Population Review, like I said, another great place to go. Okay, so I've also added income poverty level, educational attainment, unemployment, and labor force participation. So those are two different things. So 4.8%. And also this number was from 2015 to 2019. I bet it's higher now. And I would need to look up these stories and like Bureau of Labor Statistics information. You're saying, yeah,
it definitely has to be.
Yeah. And then you also have to look at labor force participation, right? Because those are the people who are participating, who want to be. So 4.8% are people who want to be participating in the labor force but are unemployed. But then you look at like 23% of people aren't even trying to participate, or 20% aren't even trying to participate, right? So there are various reasons for that as well. So that's another number to include. I couldn't find the 40% statistic on free or reduced lunch. I could only find 32. So if you know where that data was, then let me know. Someone asked, are footnotes and references required? It depends, not always. So what I tend to do, if it's not an academic research grant, if it's not a federal grant where you can add extra attachments, what I do is I just put it into the actual text, so an in-text citation. So here, since all of this is coming from the American Community Survey, I'll just put 2015 to 2019 American Community Survey. And then anytime again that I need to reference that, I'll just put it as 2015, 2019 ACS. Oops. Does that make sense? Okay. So basically in this section, I'm going to keep adding, more to this description. But I feel like you all kind of get the idea. And of course, Denise and Melinda, I'll go back and finish this after we're done today. But does anyone have any more questions about how you describe populations and how you decide what to focus on in that? Just checking in here. Okay, good. So then we have this. I'm just going to plug this in to your draft document. And then I'm wondering, do you know where you got the, oh, okay, so you said based on the ACS. I'm wondering if there's a more recent one, like 2015 to 2019.
I'm sure that probably is.
Yeah, and what is that based on? Is that based on income level?
Yes.
Okay, so what I would do is say eligibility for food assistance, including, is that food stamps?
Yeah.
What else?
Do you know if there's what else it was, food stamps or anything?
No, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe like WIC
I would assume so, yeah.
and other assistance is, and then I would give the data on what is the income level limit for that. And then state the per capita income in Wycliffe, or in Wycliffe was the data that I had, which was 3739. Again, we'll put that source there. So here's the one thing, they are not asking this here, but I think it's something we could pull up into the program description, which is there is a gap, right? And I don't believe I'm telling you all anything new, but there's a gap between government assistance and then what people actually need, right? And some people don't qualify because they make too much money for government assistance. But like you said, food prices have gone up and et cetera, et cetera. So that is also something that we can explain up in this section. So I would add a paragraph here, and this would be hopefully more fleshed out in the full application with a statement of need explaining the gap between government food assistance and people who don't qualify for it because they make too much money. Yet they're still food insecure. Because of high food prices, especially from the pandemic. And the other contributing factors, can you think
the
of
other
anyone?
contributing factors would be, their increase in their utilities and stuff, not qualifying for like heat and stuff like that. So they're choosing. They're food insecure because they want to make sure they can have lights on for their kids or, heat.
High costs of medical care and prescriptions. So many different things that we could have multiple paragraphs on this. But we're going to have a little short one here. We got between government food assistance and what people really need. Many of our clients, so again, we're kind of making it personal, many of our clients don't qualify for assistance, government assistance, because they make too much money. Yet they're still food insecure because of high food prices, especially during the pandemic, increases in their utility bills, and the high cost of medical care and prescriptions. I mean, child care, like we could go on and on here, right? But I do think that is something that's really important to highlight here. Yeah. LT said, if you have so little character limit, how can you reduce such important stats and also share your own data? Is it hard to cut from either? It is hard to cut from either to keep the context. Any suggestions on that? The first thing that I do is I go through and cut needless phrases and words. I've tried to draft this so we don't have too many needless phrases and words, but we can always cut. So that's where I start. And then if I still have too much information, I cut the least important information. So we can change since the start of the pandemic to since March 2020. That shortens it a little bit, right? And you can just keep cutting and cutting like that as much as you can till you get to the bare bones. But then you might have to start cutting actual content. Does that make sense? Oh, awesome. Crystal said she purchased Grammarly. I'm going to tell my friend Mark that. My friend Mark is a linguist who works at Grammarly. Okay, so let's see where we are with word count while we're on that topic. And we also have activities inside of our course that help you reduce wordiness, so clarity and concision. So we're at 732. I would probably focus a little bit more on this, maybe provide a couple of statistics on food insecurity. Stats on food insecurity, because that's a different number than poverty, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe any kind of descriptive news story on why there is a gap. But again, you only have like very little word count left. So we'll keep that in mind. So a couple of things I want to note is that you'll see that as I'm going, I'm not drafting the perfect draft. You know, I go back and change things, add things, revise things. And that is what grant writing is. So I never want you all to sit down and think, okay, I've got to write the perfect draft the first time. You know, it is a process. And as you are explaining something in one part, you may go back and say, oh, you know, that made me think of this other thing that I need to add here. So don't put pressure on yourself. All writers revise. All good writers revise. Okay, and LT said, yeah, cutting. How do you cut for stats? Which you consider more important? I would say that the more specific data and the more relevant data is the most important. So if I couldn't provide, if I didn't have enough space, I might cut the, well, I do like keeping the racial demographics because that is, you know, such a source of inequality. And later I found that the Hispanic and Latino populations are the most impoverished. Where was that rate here? It was so high. Yeah. The race most likely to be in poverty in Wycliffe is Hispanic, with 49.79% of that population below the poverty level. So other things I might not include, like if I don't have room for educational attainment, I'll leave it out because that's the least relevant thing. Educational attainment doesn't correlate to being impoverished or, having a hard time at the moment. Lots of people can be unemployed, can have difficulties despite educational attainment. So we're leaving that out if we have to. So I do want to keep this though. The race most likely to be in poverty in Wycliffe is Hispanic. And do you know if many of your clients are Hispanic, you all?
We do have quite a few.
Okay. So that might be another goal of yours. Maybe once you've kind of gotten your footing, is to start tracking racial demographic data so that you can really focus on that in some of these grants, because that means a lot to a lot of grant makers right now. It is one of the highest priorities is equity in grant making right now. If you saw the American Rescue Plan Act for the Economic Development Association's grant based on that act, they're spending hundreds of $millions, and their number one focus, they said, is equity. Number one, not just an add-on, tagging it on at the end. That is the focus of that grant. So it's huge to keep track of data like that. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm going to leave this. I'm going to finish it up for them later, but I feel like you all have a good sense of how to add in demographic data for just to describe your participants. Do you all have any more questions about that? Denise and Melinda, do you have any questions?
No, I think we're good.
Wendy, that's the American Rescue Plan Act. You asked what the act was. So yeah, lots of cities, counties, states got funding through that, and some of them are giving out funding, but I'm talking specifically about the Economic Development Administration. They have hundreds of millions of dollars, and their main priority for that grant is equity. So, okay, so the last thing that we have here was the budget. What I've done here is I just want to show you all how I organize this because, their numbers aren't super important for our purposes here today. But I just want to show you what a budget summary would look like. So they say, please summarize expenses that would be supported by the requested funds, e.g. staff, supplies, travel, etc. So this is the place where you really go in and explain what you need and why. So since we have this section, here comes my son to say hello. Since we have this section, hey bud, I'm still on the webinar. Sorry guys. Since we have this section, we might be able to pull some of this information from above, right? So for example, a little bit of this we can use down here. So the first thing was your food pantry truck coordinator. Is that what we're calling you, Melinda, or do you have another title?
No,
Not the truck coordinator.
Yeah, I was wondering why it said truck. So food pantry coordinator. So here we'll change this to a full-time employee to run the center. Our current coordinator, and I'll change that word before. Melinda Dennis works on a volunteer basis. Her salary and benefits would total, X amount per year. Okay. So then I would put the total cost. So let's say that's 40,000, and I know it's going to be more than that. Let's say 60,000. And then the request is what you're requesting. So maybe you're asking for 15,000 to cover that. Then supplies, so shelves, tables, PPE, and boxes. What I would do for the actual like full budget that you have to put either in a form or on their, if they have like an online form that you've got to do, or if you have to do an Excel spreadsheet, is I would break this down. So we need 3 shelves, 3, 5x8 shell, metal shelves, etc. Each, $500, blah, blah, blah. So break all of that down for that. And then you'll have a total cost of supplies once you've written all of that up. And then we also have things like truck rental, gas, food. But we didn't talk about the truck rental here, so I don't know if that's actually going to be covered in this grant. Is it?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Okay, just checking. And then do you all actually buy food as well, or do you just get donations?
We have grants that we get that we purchase the food through the Greater Cleveland Food Bank at a discount. And then we also get donations.
Well, here I'll put, although most food is donated, is that right?
No, most of the food we have to pay for, but we have been able to get it covered by grants through the Cleveland Food Bank. And then we have the 9 retailers who donate food.
Okay, much of the food is donated. We purchase food through the Greater Cleveland Food Bank at a discounted rate with grant funding. Okay.
The problem sometimes what we run into with the food that we purchase through the food bank is certain grants allow you to cover delivery costs. So like on average, we're getting like 11,000 pounds of food or 9,000 pounds of food, which we can't go pick up ourselves in the truck. So the food bank delivers it, and it's, yes, the product is at a discounted rate, but you get charged so much per pound for delivery. And some grants don't pay for the delivery portion. So we try to search for grants that will pay for that portion. Otherwise, we couldn't do it.
Okay, so which becomes just an untenable expense. And so we'll say at a later point how much this costs. So let's say it's $10,000 a year, and you're requesting 5. So that's what we'll do for each one of these categories after our session here is over. But I think we have a good start on what you need.
I have a question. When it comes to that section, we are huge on like volunteer retention. So we'll try to get, stuff for our, like we got those towels to put around your neck, and, we do stuff to help our volunteers. So, I know in some of the grants she wrote, we put something in there for like volunteer retention. We'll buy a couple times a month, if not 3 times a month, we'll buy food because some of them are with us there for a 12-hour day. So we'll buy lunch or dinner for everybody and, stuff like that. Or every time there's a Fifth Tuesday, we're purchasing food so that we can have a big dinner with them while we do our trainings. So.
Awesome. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, so we can add that expense in here. So volunteer retention materials such as meals, cooling towels, I'm guessing beverages.
Yeah.
T-shirts. Yeah, we did go out and buy T-shirts. So everyone has the same T-shirt.
Okay, and then we'll estimate an expense for that per year. I'm just going to put that as a placeholder. Okay. So is this making sense to you all, how we're doing this? Kind of summarizing each one of these. And then I do, for budget summary, like to have just an introductory sentence. So we'll say funding will provide for expenses related to expanding our impact, including more perishable food items distributed and a higher number of clients served, which we've already stated that before, but it's fine to give them a reminder. Melinda and Denise, is there anything I'm not addressing that you want to address? Any concerns?
I don't think of any.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we've got a good draft here, and what I'll do is go back and flesh it out a little bit more. Now I want to check in with you all on the comments. Is the sample grant you're writing available to us as well? I'll ask about that. I won't put you all on the spot, but I'll ask them afterwards if it's available. But you can go back and watch this. So just keep in mind that you need to create your own template, right? Because everybody's mission, strategies, population, everything is so different. Sometimes people ask me for a grant template, and I'm like, that doesn't exist. It's not possible because everyone is doing such different things. But I give you what I try to give you through these live workshops and things, and all of my course materials is a series of questions to answer. So I'll show you just an example of that. So if you weren't sure how to figure out all this stuff for your own program, all you do is go through these workbooks and answer the questions. This is from my course, Grant Writing Made Easy. So we teach you how to set goals and objectives, and we help you just step by step by filling this out, making it as simple as possible. Okay. We have strategies, we have resources. Yeah, and you all, Melinda, you all have all of this. You have access to all of this. So it's inside Grant Writing Made Easy. That's module 4. We also have some newer workbooks, newer designs, some that have come out and some that will be coming out. But this will really take you step by step through everything. And you'll see each of the workbooks, they're in depth. This one's 49 pages. I have some that are longer than that. But it's going to even teach you how to make logical arguments and what an illogical argument is and how to avoid that. So you've got everything you need in there. Bernardo says, what I'm understanding is the grant process is unique to the grant that we're applying for. Yes, there is core content that needs to be added. Absolutely. So no matter how they phrase certain questions, they're all asking the same things essentially. So they want to know your mission and history. They want to know your statement of need or purpose. They want to know your program design. Yeah, so okay, now we're getting into questions about the course and everything. So I do want to share that. And Melinda and Denise, I thank you so much for being here, being willing to share. And I'm going to be adding more to this after this session is over to get it done for you for tomorrow, because you're turning it in tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So if you all want to head out, you're welcome to do that. If you want to stick around, you're welcome to do that as well. I'm just going to be talking about grant writing made easy.
Bye. Thank you so much.
You're fabulous. And thank you for all that you do. Okay. So you all, if the course Grant Writing Made Easy is something that you're interested in, if you want to learn how to do the process that I'm showing you right now, I'll actually take you through, you're so welcome, Wendy, and show you some info on the course. I'm also going to go ahead and share the organizational history handout. Oh, wait, I think Alicia already shared it. Thank you, Alicia. Yeah, so you can download that. It's in the handout section. So if all of this is interesting to you all, I want to share a little bit more about the course. I really do want to make this process that I just showed you, knowing how to analyze a document, how to understand what a grant maker is asking for, how to draft a compelling grant, how to revise a grant, how to find the perfect grant for you. I'm trying to make that as easy as possible. And that's what I do with my course, which is called Grant Writing Made Easy. So I started this course in 2016. So I've been teaching it for 5 years now, and we've had thousands of students go through it and have success with grants. And if you are not interested in this course, like, feel free if you want to head out, no worries whatsoever. I wanted you to get that free, education, training, demonstration of how to draft and revise a grant. But if you're interested in going the next step with us, please stick around and learn more about my course. Because as you can see, grant writing is time consuming. There's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of background knowledge that you need to have to do it well. And I wish I had had all of this training before I started writing grants. I just did kind of learn as you go. I did research and read a bunch of books, found them inadequate, and that's why I created the course. And now I found that, oh, Tesha, thank you. You're in the course. I appreciate you so much. You said the course is phenomenal. Oh, Crystal, you've purchased the course too. Thank you. And you said it's amazing along with all the support that's offered. So what I just did with Denise and Melinda, I do twice a month for people in the course. So I do it live during the twice monthly writing workshops. I also facilitate people doing that for each other in peer reviews. So we have like whole peer review sheets that people can use to ask the right questions to get better grant drafts. Oh, thank you, Wendy. And we also have an online community of over 1,000 grant writers. So people who are like currently in our Facebook group from around the US, Canada, and abroad. And they are super accessible, supportive. And if someone needs something reviewed, they will do it, or I will do it in the monthly workshop. And you'll get the document, you get to save it, and you get to watch the workshop back if you want to rewatch the feedback that I gave and watch how I did the revisions and writing. Yeah, I'm seeing Tisha's asking about the workbook. So the workbooks that I was showing on the screen are inside the course. So that's the only way to get those particular workbooks. So I just have some student quotes here. I'll let you glance through those. The thing I love about Grant Writing Made Easy is that it's accessible from many different levels. So if you're a new grant writer, it's accessible. If you've been doing it for 20 years, which we actually have people in the course who have been doing it for 20 plus years, it still teaches them something, because not only the content, which is videos, workbooks, templates, and more, it's also the twice monthly writing workshops. So they come and we work on things together, and they learn so much from that and get help with their own writing as well. Here's another one from Fallon Green. Yeah, and she says she's had several grant successes since taking the course. Yeah, Bernada said you're interested. You have grant writing experience in a 501c3. Do we offer payment plan services? Yes. So we have the $500 option, which is a lifetime membership. You never have to pay anything else. Or we have a $300 option, and then it's $30 a month after that, just as long as you want to stay in the course. And if you want to end your subscription to the course, all you have to do is email us and let us know that, and we'll cancel for you. So when you're in the course, you make a grant opportunity list. I show you how to do the search. I show you how to evaluate everything, literally step by step. I just revised our course, our grant search workbook. I don't think I have it pulled up here, but I have to say I'm really proud of it. It is fantastic. Here's our history and mission workbook. But you'll see like they're visually pleasing, they're easy to use, they're enjoyable to work with. But the Grant Search Workbook helps you plan everything out and find the exact one. Yes, so I'll go ahead and put the course price out here. It's in the resources. Hold on a second here. Yeah, so the $500 is all at once. However, you can pay it with credit card or PayPal. So hopefully that's not an obstacle if you're able to do that. Hold on now. I'm trying to find my resource here. Alicia, can you put it up, the offer? Oh, wait, I see where it is now. Okay, now I'm sharing it. If you want to click on that link that says join us, you can click there and find out more about the pricing, but I'm going to get to more of that here in a second. So you're going to create that grant opportunity list. You're going to write your grant proposal. You're going to have a system for writing new grants in the future that's going to save you time. You're going to have a better program or project design. So I actually teach you, like in that the one I just had pulled up, how to design your programs so that they're actually very strong. And you're not just making things up on the fly with different program ideas. Like you have an actual written out document that explains how your program works. Okay, next. The course consists of 6 modules that break down the grant writing process. So everything that I just talked about here today, it's all laid out for you in those 6 modules. There are 11 core instructional videos that take you through examples of grants, explain the principles of grant writing in plain language. There's over 300 pages of workbooks, templates. So templates for things like MOUs and letters of inquiry and your grant opportunity list. Those are things that we can turn into templates, and things like the organizational history generator. We also have peer review exercises for each grant section, so you can get effective revision suggestions on your grant from your peers in the course. There's a little glimpse of the module workbooks. We also do new course content every quarter, so whether that's updating existing content or creating brand new content. We do 24 live writing workshops a year, so if you can't make one of them, you can always find another one to come to. And we often help people, revise. Every time we help someone revise a grant draft that is going to be sent out, that is going to help them get funding. We also have the private members only Facebook group. So that's just for people inside the course. Some people might be in my open, like public one that anyone can join, but this one is different. Okay, so this is the private one that only members can be in. We also have discounts to GrantStation and Instrumental. So those are 2 grant search databases that help you find the best grants. Instead of just Googling things, the best way to do it is searching like this. Then we have writing exercises just to help you improve your quality of writing in general. So that's the value of the whole course there. It's, I have a PhD in rhetoric and writing. I know this course is equivalent to a college writing course and more because we provide ongoing support. If you're a lifetime member, you get it for a lifetime. The only thing we don't do is read everything you write, grade it, give you feedback on it. And that's the only difference between a college writing course. So like I said, we have 2 options here. We have the $500, which gives you lifetime membership, not just for a year, for the lifetime, the entire time this course exists, which is now 5+ years. So it's likely to be around for a while. And then $300 plus $30 a month until you no longer want to be a course. That's our second pricing option if you don't want to go for the full $500. Okay, so like I said, lifetime membership, no more fees, just the one-time $500. You get access to everything, the course, the workshops, the bonuses, the same as the monthly members. And I need to pull the chat up here to make sure, make sure y'all don't have any questions. Wendy said, do you have rolling admissions? Yes, we have rolling admissions because the course is self-paced. All the content is right there and you can look at it at any time. And you decide how you work through the course. We have a guide on how to work through the course depending upon where you are on your grants journey. So if that's something you need help with, it's in our welcome module in the course. Actually, I'll pull that. I'll actually let you look inside the course a little bit here in a second. So I just want you to think about it. I'm not putting any pressure on you all. I don't do high pressure sales. I don't do countdown timers anymore. There's no special discount for deciding right now. There's no expiration on the pricing. It is what it is. So you can leave here, take the time and think about it and come back when you've made your decision. I encourage you to go Google online grant writing courses and see what else is out there. Because if you compare my course to anyone else's course, I bet you'll come back to my course. If you don't, that's fine. Like go to the provider, the course, the teacher that fits your personality, the way you work, what you like. But if you want to work with me, come on, let's go. We're here to help and I'm ready to help you. Lily said with the 300, when does the $30 a month begin? It begins 30 days after you purchase the course. Good question. So just think about what it would be worth to have this community of grant writers who are there for you, to feel more confident you're taking the right steps to get grant funding, to have access to training you can take on your own schedule, but still have that one-on-one, like the writing workshops, to get the individual, it's a bunch of people in there, but we focus on one person's writing at a time. How much would it be worth to improve your skills and experience as a grant writer, increase the amounts and number of awards you obtain for your organization, or if you're a consultant, which we do have a lot of consultants in our course, for your clients' organizations. Okay. So if this is interesting to you, if you want to join us, you can click on that button right there to the left that says join us. It'll take you to the checkout. You can select your payment option there, right on that page. It'll take you either to the 500 or the 300. Actually, the page that's linked there will take you to a sales page that explains a little bit more about this. One thing I do want to mention is that we recently got accepted by the CFRE Certified Fundraising Executive Continuing Education Program. So if you take our course and you apply with them, it may be accepted for 8 continuing education points. So if you're a certified fundraising executive member, then you can get that. We also are a Grant Professionals Association approved trainer. So, GPA is one of the largest, most reputable grant professional organizations in the country, and they say that we are good. They say that we do a good job. So if you need a little extra validation and you just want to confirm that this is legit, you can look at that information on the sales page and click on it, and you'll go to their page and you can look up our profile. So as you're going through this, you click join the program now to complete your order, and then you'll get the registration confirmation. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah, we're proud of being GPA approved trainers. And once you get the confirmation, you'll get an email immediately with your login info. And then you're just going to head over to Grant Writing Made Easy and log in right here. This is always at the top of the page. I keep it up there so that members come first, right? So it's not trying to sell you anything at the top of the page. It's just trying to get you logged in. Awesome, Carmen. Well, we're excited to have you join us. Thank you. Oh, and then also, if you have any trouble with getting logged in or getting your info, anything, all you have to do is email us support@grantwritingmadeeasy.com, and we answer those every business day. So that account gets checked and responded to every single business day. So we have some more nice testimonials. I don't want to read them out loud because I feel like it's just embarrassing. Not embarrassing. Whatever. I just don't want to read out loud, but you all can take a look at those. There are more on the sales page. Here comes my toddler. You want to join me? Are you going to come tell people to join my course? Did you get mail? We got some mail for you all. Yeah, and so we have students there talking about the value they've gotten out of the course, grants that they've won, amounts that they've won. There's Peggy talking about her $24,000 grant. I need to update that because she's gotten a lot more since then. Jan, who has been running grants for over 20 years with a lot of success. Penny, the $30 doesn't have an ending date. Yeah, thank you, Alicia. It doesn't have an ending date. And that's why it is, we can price that initial fee lower. The $30 is just until you no longer need access to the resources of the course. Thank you, Wendy. You might want to join me someday. Yeah, the $500 is a one-time fee, nothing after that. Francina talking about how she loves the ongoing support. And you really get an insider's look into other people's nonprofits and grant writing processes and products, which it's really hard to get elsewhere. There's another person, Cynthia. So if you're ready to get started today, come on, join us. And if you need to think about it longer, if you need to get your funding together, take your time. I know you need the course now and you want to get in there now. We're not doing pricing, discount deadlines, blah, blah, blah. I don't do that anymore. I took an ethical marketing pledge to not do that stuff anymore. I don't want to pressure you all. We're here to serve the greater good. We're mission oriented. If you find that our work is phenomenal and you've enjoyed what you've learned here today and you want to learn how to be systematic that way in your grants, and you want to know how to look at a grant the way I do and analyze it and know exactly what needs to be done without, eventually without not having to follow that structure and all of the workbooks, we will ingrain it into your brain so that you can do that yourself. Again, the lifetime membership, one payment of $500, the monthly membership, $300, and then after 30 days is 30 months to follow. Yeah, Bernada, it's hard when you're doing this on your own and you don't have any point of reference for whether what you're doing is what you should be doing or how you could improve. That's what we're here to provide. All right, you all, I'm going to let you all ask questions. I know we still have some people in here, so let me know what questions you have. I'm also going to share my screen. So you can see my course a little bit. Let's see here. Tiffany said, this has been a great session, very informal. Thank you so much for your time and visuals. You're welcome. Yeah, I just wanted to give you a real, here's how I do this, here's how I write session, so you can actually see it. Okay, so here's our course. This is the first page, and then when you log in, you'll be taken to the welcome page. So we've got a course tour video. I'm not going to click on these because the sound will come on. But we have, a workbook explaining how to start with us, exactly where you need to go, depending upon, what you've already done, how to use the workbooks. Oh, wait, I don't think you can see that window. Anyway, The first module here is grant search and planning. So if you don't know how to find grants, that will teach you exactly how to do it. Tiffany said, if you're a new organization, what information should be used if you don't have enough supporting history? Just be straightforward. And, if you've never served anyone, you don't have any numbers to refer to, just state that it's a new organization. There are startup grants out there. So if you want to start asking for grants in your first year, don't let people tell you you can't do that. You just can't aim for like a $50,000 grant. You can't aim for something that requires a lot of history and proof of success. But there are smaller community foundation grants, corporate foundation grants. I can teach you how to get that all through the course. Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. Oh, so you enjoyed it and made a recommendation to your ED to purchase. Awesome. I hope to see you in the course soon. I would love to help you. So here's module 1, and these videos, of course, you can make full screen, even more than that if you want to, if you click this again. And then every module has a workbook that you click here and download. I really want to show you that one. So let me stop sharing my screen and share the whole thing again. Wendy, awesome. You're going to join when funding is available. Love to have you. So let me show you the module 1 workbook here. So grant search, fit, and planning. So we can help you come up with the exact search terms to use. So we give you charts on figuring this out. We explain what all the different categories are. We help you plan, all these different combinations of search terms so that you find every grant you can possibly find, everyone that's available, evaluate the grants. I mean, I can go on and on. As you can see, it's very detailed, but it's the essentials. It's what you need to know to really be a pro. Awesome, Phoebe. Thank you so much. No, there's no deadline to sign up. Take your time, think about it. But, I know you want to get in there and start getting grants or start improving your grant proposals. So awesome. Lily, you said this has been hugely helpful. Oh, yay. I hope to have you in the course soon too, Lily. Thank you. Any other questions, or does anyone else want to see more of the course? I'm happy to show more. If you're just ready to get in there, I can do that too. And then we also have video transcripts. And our next step is actually captioning the videos, but we do have transcripts if you need that. So this first module has multiple videos and lots of checklists and different things that you can download, templates, cheat sheets. So that's just module 1. And there's modules 2 through 6. The son is helping me. And you can see these are, longer videos. Like there's only one video in the following module. So this one's an hour long, hour and 4 minutes. There's the organizational history generator. Then we also have example histories for different types of nonprofits. We have our peer review sheets you can exchange with people and get your writing reviews. Hey, great. And then we have an extras page, a writing workshops page. So this is where you sign up for our twice monthly writing workshops. So we have the links there. Our next one is in September. And we also record these. So if you miss it, you can watch it back. And you'll see here that just like I did with you all today, we do live revision in these. We also do searches, grant searches. So if you need help finding grants, we can do that as well. Okay, Phoebe said she'd love to see more. Okay, I'll look a little bit more and then I'll hop off here because I know everybody's busy and has plenty to do. Let's see what's in the extras section here. Another thing is you get access to other things that are sometimes just outside the course, like our Ultimate Strategic Planning Workbook. I sell that for 20 bucks, but in here, you get that for free. Also, the PowerPoint slide deck template for that. So if you want to present your strategic plan, then you can download this slide deck template and use it. So that's another $15, normally outside of the course, but you get it inside the course. Instructions on grants.gov, a guest on nonprofit financials. I have grant examples down here. So academic research grant, a state arts and culture grant, a federal grant, and I have 3 different versions showing that. And so, I add to these, change these so that you have different resources to refer to. All right, I'm starting to lose my voice. So I'm going to let you all go. Thank you again so much for being here. I'm sure that each of you is working hard to make the world a better place for yourself and others, and I appreciate that so much. And I couldn't say off the top of my head, Phoebe, what a good grant for that would be. That's not something I've searched for recently, but in the course, I teach you exactly how to search for that. And if you want to use grants databases to do that search, I give you discounts to 2 different ones that you can do. And then Bernarda said, last question, how do we access the recording of this webinar? You'll get it via email. Yeah, Betsy, yeah, we have examples of past grants in there. They're anonymized, some of them, and some of them are not. Just depends on the permissions that we got from our clients. Yeah. All right. Thank you all again so much for being here. I really appreciate you and all that you do for the world to make it a better place. And I would love to have you in Grant Writing Made Easy if it's resonating with you. And hopefully I'll see you in the course soon. Thank you so much. Bye.